this was our great talk with Julien of Gorod. We really enjoyed visiting with him. What a great guy and a great sense of humor. Great vocals on this one, both clean and unclean. I love their music because it always has like the crushing part and then the interlude, and then they bring the heavy back in. So check it out.
Pay attention to when he talks about the influences of the guitarist. It's jaw-dropping stuff. I mean, this is not the Ramones, people.
By far, you guys are my favorite ones to cook to.
Yeah.
I do
Really?
this thing in the morning on the weekends where I make my own hash browns from potatoes. So it's great for use a cheese grater to grate up the potatoes. It's perfect.
Okay. We love.
Very intense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah,
cooking
from
time.
the moment the needle drops on this record.
Yep.
By the way, what in the world is a chromathism?
You mean what does it mean?
Yeah.
Actually, some kind of expression I managed because on this latest album, I was working on many different, let's say, novels, books, and sources, and my major one was some sort of philosophy essay from the writer Aldous Huxley.
Okay, yeah.
And he's talking about some kind of it's not Brave New World. These are some other reflections and stuff that he was compiling, and this one is talking about idolatry and different kind of idolatry. And there is one about objects, which is supposed to be, let's say, the more how we call it ingenious. No, I forgot. He's using some kind of specific words to call it. Like it's one of the most stupid one in the end. Like the facts of making objects turning into gods or some kind of divinities. And so this is this process that we made. So this can be identified like in pagan culture. So for instance, like a statue, making it like just something you've been sculptured and you did with your own hands, and then you identify it as some kind of divinity, like it has this like the highness of a god, of a god or something like this. But this is just a fact of making objects that way. And crematism in that thing so is connected to more to technology now, so in a modern way, like yes.
Of course,
For
yeah.
instance. So like this can, let's say, we can be enslaved by this kind of stuff, and like making this thing like not celebrating themselves, but making them godlike in a way. They are connecting people in like in a way that's we couldn't do it a bit before that. So this is definitely the thing, like turning objects into divinity, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. There's no breaks in that one. There's absolutely no breaks. You're like out of breath at the end. It comes in hard, and then you guys are just gone. There's no intro. There's no outro. It's just I love it.
Yeah, just like straightforward. This is something we wanted to do because we've been talking lately, and like no, okay, there are intro all the time, and this time we've been discussing with Mathieu because Mathieu is the main composer. He's making the music basically since the beginning of the band. We're like, okay, this time no intro, nothing, like everything, all the instruments all together, and like, what the hell? Like you push play, and then you missed the first informations that you are compelled to. Okay, what happens? Yeah, this is something like very surprising. Wanting to do something like just what the hell? And like the topic is everything is already in like on the first second. Yeah, this is we want it to be surprising this time, like doing exactly the opposite of progressive stuff that we are tending to do now.
Right. Well, the Aether album was all about moons and cults, whereas the Orb seems to change to themes of the sun and adds in the Aldous Huxley angle. Like, how did you guys decide to go with that theme?
A 1932 novel.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many. Yeah, but actually, I'm writing. This is my job to write all the concepts, all the lyrical process, all the lyrical topics and everything. Like we are always cut it in two parts. Like Mathieu is doing the music, I'm doing all the concepts, and that's it. So we work all together, and I mean, for the eighth, I've been inspired right after an exhibition, and there was an exhibition of the painter Paul Gauguin. There was a retrospective in the Grand Museum of the Grand Palais in Paris, and like this one was very interesting because it was like not his whole work, but many different stuff he was working on. And you know, he spent a lot of time in Polynesia, so in this kind of islands, and he's been studying their devotion, the divinities, the way they are seeing nature, and the way they are seeing their gods. So sure, this is a pagan culture in a way. And so it really started with a picture with his name Hina. And this is the name of a goddess. This is the song number 5, if I'm not wrong. And so this is one is really connected with that. And I was like, oh, I didn't know about that divinity. I was like, yeah, this is very interesting, like how this thing is done. And this is something very connected with us, but so far away in the same way. And when I went out of the museum, it was late. It was in the evening because it was closing at 8 or something, 8 p.m. something like that. And I saw the big moon, like it was not full moon, but I was like, oh, that's cool. And Hina is the goddess of the moon in a way. I was like, okay, let's do it. Like I was just inspired by elements and things. So it's just right after because I'm going to museum because I'm actually an art historian and I'm really connected with anything that comes to art. And so as I was working on the moon for the previous one, logically, I was like, okay, let's work about the sun. Simple as that.
Yeah.
No.
Wow. It was meant to be.
Like
Yeah.
a lot of people say like 1984 was, you know, some of the stuff has come true. But in this one, like that kind of hedonistic society where it's, what was it? They say no privacy, no family, no monogamy. I think
Yeah.
sometimes the no privacy thing has come true.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, to be honest, like I do appreciate the work of George Orwell, but I'm really more connected with the way of seeing things as Aldous Huxley. And for him, to me, is way more interesting because it's a bit less how can I say? It's a bit less austere. It's a bit less let's say pessimistic. It is, but this is Huxley is really more connected with spirituality in this way and philosophy. Like George Orwell, this is definitely dystopia, and this is
Yeah, it's so
there is no
bleak.
point of no return. There is no hope. There is nothing, and like yeah, no privacy, nothing. Like everything is controlled. And I think with the work of Huxley, there is a bit something not positive, but there are more options in the way he's thinking and actually getting in touch with this, let's say, dark topics. And so, sure, there's something about Orwell, but definitely I'm more like connected with the Oxley aspect. So that's it.
Yeah.
That's really neat. So what are the secrets with Gorod in producing music that has tight musicianship, kick-ass quality, you know, always true to the genre, and you're consistent for so many years? Is it the people? Is it a feeling? What do you think the secret is?
So many things because yeah, actually the band was created 25 years ago now. So they started in 1987. I was not in the band at the time. There are only 2 members that are still there, and Mathieu. So I'll tell you about him before that. And he's the main composer. He has always been the composer. Like he's making the music since the very beginning until the end, until now. So sure, this is something you can recognize, and it's consistent because it comes from the same mind. Like the overall stuff, like 70s, he wrote like more than 70 songs for Gorod now, and you can recognize his touch, his way of doing things. Even I mean, the very old ones were on the demo, and like sounds really, let's say, old school and cheap in a way, but this sounds already like even the newest stuff. So there's this thing. So what makes it, let's say, logical and consistent because it just comes from the same mind. And there have been many lineup change, but in the end, I mean, all the time the new members try to respect, let's say, to honor what was done previously, even if it's changing a bit. Because to me, the major change was the drumming. because their two first albums, that used to be Sandrine. So that was a girl who she was more into groovy stuff. So she was not blasting, not doing super fast double bass and everything. And when Sam joined the band later on, he was really into this super fast tech that stuff. So it's changed. That was a switch, but still, even if it's when I mean if it's the composition are faster, more technical, more aggressive, there's still the same thing because it comes from the same mind. So this and now I mean the lineup is stable, like it's the same for 13 years now.
Yeah.
So almost, yeah. Like I mean, I joined the band in 2010. Then Nico, the other second guitar player, I mean, the soloist is like joined them in 2010, right after me. And Carol is now a new drummer, but he's with us for 10 years now. So this is the same team, the same way of doing things, and coming from the same mind. And I mean, I think, yeah, sure. Even if there are some change, nothing has changed that much in the end. That's what I think.
Yeah, I really thought Ariza was going to be hard to top, but honestly, I believe that you've done it with this one. It stays true, like you said, to those early sounds, but there's even with you, a better vocal range and more layers of those guitar harmonies. So was the songwriting process the same or different on those last two albums?
This is pretty close, actually. Since the beginning, it has always been more or less the same way. But what is changing usually is the emergency of composition. Like if we have no time, like we start to be on a schedule, like, okay, this has to be done that moment if you want to tour at that moment. So for instance, A Perfect Absolution, this album is the perfect example of emergency composition. This was done just in a couple of months, like super, super fast. For Aisva, we spent way more time in doing the composition, even if it went pretty fast. But this is the same way I mean, Mathieu is composing the music, like he's a guitar player, but when he's making putting out a new song, there are always like first, he starts with a drum track. So drums is the first kind of thing he's composing, and two harmonized guitars, because he's always composing, thinking about the harmony first, the overall stuff. And the bass, I mean, the bass lines are pretty free. Barbie can write his own thing. So sure, is like there is a structure. There is everything is already there. Once we get that, and so the composition, like it's, I mean, the process is definitely the same. Just some time to time we take more time, and time to time we have less time. And for this album, in the end, we really started to make actually the oldest song from the Orb is the Walls of Shades. This we started with that one, and this one was made during the lockdown. So
Okay.
so this is pretty old already. But this one changed, like the first version and the final one is very different. It means that which really made different interpretation. They were like first, almost only clean vocals on the first version, and now in the end I decided to put some kind of black metal or aggressive stuff instead of that. We changed it a bit. But the other songs, there are some kind of examples that were, for instance, Crematheism. I think this is the fastest composition we ever made. That's interesting that you were talking about this, because we had 8 songs, and Carol, our drummer, started to let's say track the song. So we went in the studio because we have our own studio. Mathieu is actually the owner of his own shit. And the thing is that Carol, he had like 3 days or 4 days to do all the takes, and he went too fast, and he had like an extra day at the end. So what can we do? And Mathieu was like, oh, I think I still have some couple of riffs. So it was like 7 p.m. It was like, okay, let me spend the night. I will try to make a song. And I remember the day after, it was like 2 p.m. And Carol told me, okay, new song is tracked. What the hell? Like yesterday evening, it didn't exist, and now it's recorded. It's like,
God.
so that's a good example. Like Wolf of Shades, 2 years and a half to make it. Prometheism, less than 24 hours. That's the big difference between all of that.
Sounds like you guys work well under pressure.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's pretty good because when this, yeah, it was pretty fun in time to time, yeah.
Mm.
So definitely, yeah, I think we need it. We hate it, but
That's
that's
how
the
I
way to
did
go.
every term paper in college. I would wait until 2 days before it was due to start and then just up all night
Yeah.
typing and then produce, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Pressure.
I
Yeah.
absolutely don't know what you
Sure.
talk about. Yeah, same thing for me. Like all my theses were already, everything was written like very last minute, even the
Yeah.
day before giving it back. So
Yeah.
yeah, Gorod, there is a bit of this in most of the songs in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You you've played in the US before, haven't you? You've
I
been
just did.
you just did, yeah. So how was
Yeah.
that? Like what was that like?
Yeah, last tour was like March and April. So it was like 28 shows, so 1 month, also on 30 days. So it was pretty intense. And usually it's actually we've been 4 or 5 times in the US already. So also there was once in 2016, it was strictly Canada, but we are starting to get used to go there. But for us, definitely this last tour was the best US tour we ever did. That was the we were headlining on this one. So let's say small lineup with friends of us. Cognitive was organizing, like promoting and everything. And these are we met together in 2013 because they are Rob, who was like in charge of making this tour, who putting it out, was playing with us. So we met at that moment. So yeah, 10 years ago already. That was the first time we've been in the US. So but the turnout of this one was pretty good because usually the previous tour when we were crossing the north and the south, I mean when we were between the shows in the middle were hard, like so very usually creepy venues, almost no one, and actually there was not I think not a single really proper shot show on this tour for us. So that was the first tour without shot show. So we were like, yeah, super satisfied with it. Even actually, most of the venues were small, but we had like 4 sold out show or 5, something like that. So
Great, yeah.
it was adapted to our tour, and I mean the sellings were good, the show turnout were good, the atmosphere every night was nice. Like it's really exhausting because your country is fucking huge, you know.
Yeah, yeah, lots of
So
driving. Yeah.
yeah, it was like 10,000 miles on 30 days. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Did you come back with any
what?
new favorite foods?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Did you come back with any new favorite foods that you discovered here?
Food. I don't think we discovered many new things this time. Like we've been eating classic stuff we already knew. So, no, one of the best restaurants we had was in Lincoln, Nebraska, and that was a Caribbean restaurant actually.
Oh wow.
So this one was insanely good. Like so many, like with stuff with sweet potato meat and very complicated stuff, and that was a greatest discovery. But it's properly not. This is not really U.S. food in the end. But and also sure, like every year we always experience some kind of barbecue when we are driving to Texas and in the South. So
Yeah.
that was not discovery, but I'm trying for a different kind of meat and stuff. So no, so
Yeah.
and
I used
those burgers almost every
yeah.
day.
I used to work for a Danish company and I would take the Danish people out to a steakhouse and they would always say,
Yeah.
Mark, how many grams is this steak? And I was like, I don't know. It's a big fucking piece of meat. Eat it, you know.
Yeah, this is just meat. That's it. Yeah. But yeah, definitely I do like the Texan barbecue. This is something
Oh yeah.
pretty not every day, I mean, but yeah, time to time that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good balance between everything is to, try to do a
Yeah.
little bit everything. So,
Yeah.
was this your first recording process that was done completely in-house?
No. So this is the usual way of doing things
Ah,
because I mean for instance the 3 first album, this is Mathieu who made absolutely everything. I mean the music, recording it, tracking it, mixing and mastering, even mastering.
Wow.
But no, there's 2 Letting Vision, so the second album, and the third one, only the mastering was made by Scott Hall, the one who was playing in Pig Destroyer and
Oh yeah, we know Scott. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is Scott who made it, but only the mastering. So the whole thing is like Mathieu makes everything home. It's like super homemade. And for the last one, yeah, Aethra was in some kind of exception because the mixing was made by Daniel Bergstrand. So in Sweden in a way. So that was the only one that was made like that. But on the last recording, the orb, the mixing was made by Mathieu and our usual sound tech guy. Or so this is our sound guy. So this is made in the family, and in the mastering was made in a mastering studio which is in Bordeaux. So as the band is from Bordeaux, so this is super local, and this is the usual way. But this time we were even more local than usual. Like, but yeah,
That's got to be
this is
great
some
though.
kind
You
of
have so
usual
much
process.
control over everything, you know.
Yeah, this is everything like is yeah is it's made like home definitely.
That's cool.
So I love how each song kind of has its own mood. Like you've already answered my question about Walls of Shades because that's so dissonant. And now I understand why.
Yeah.
Um, but like We Are Sun Gods, that middle kind of where it gets broken down, it
The
almost sounds like there's, some kind of Latin influence going on. What was kind of the thought behind that?
I think to me this is really classic of Mathieu composing because he's always been playing stuff like this. So this is for us, We Are the Sun God is like the super classic song. Like there is no surprises at all. And we are using working titles before they have a name. And this one was like named Disavoy God number 2. Like you just only that you made like a copy paste from that song. Like, okay, I will do a tapping exactly that one, but this time with a clean sound. So that's the only basically this difference. But the BPM is the same, the way of playing stuff is the same. Like this is the really his influence, and Mathieu listens a lot to music from the 70s. So he's a huge fan of King Crimson and this kind of progressive stuff. And this is something that you can clearly hear in this kind of parts. So this is definitely his heritage. But he was also a big fan of John McLaughlin, of Aldi Meola, so this kind of guitar player. And also, sure, Cacophony, because the Cacophony is one of his favorite things. Like Jason Baker is one of his favorite guitar player. So I think you can really easily hear those kind of influences in it, but with his specific touch. Yeah, to me this is and it sounds like Mathieu. And yeah, the thing also, this is the first time that we decided that there's gonna be a drum solo. This is something we never did, so this is something pretty challenging. It's only I'm like, this is yeah. The purpose was to make this something like unusual, and we were thinking about live performance about this. So this song is really made for live performance. So this is yeah, this was made on purpose, and I think this is why it sound like it sounds. So this breakdown is definitely for stage.
Yeah. Yeah. Drum solo. That's definitely 70s Prague. Definitely.
Completely. We
Yeah.
are 100% into it with that one. That's
Definitely.
it.
I was curious, besides Aldous Huxley, what other kind of literary books are you into? Like that you enjoy?
What do you mean? Sorry.
Besides Aldous Huxley, what other books, do you get into? What kind of novels or authors do you enjoy?
Books? What do you mean by books?
No, books,
Books.
authors. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Many. Usually I'm mostly reading archaeological
Oh,
books,
okay.
like in yeah, monography of artists, exhibition catalog. So everything what is connected with art history, and yeah, mostly about painters, their lives and everything. And I'm specialized. Actually, my topic when I was a student was the like painting in Central Europe and France at the end of the 19th century and beginning of the 20th century. So I'm specialized into symbolism and this kind of decadent artistry. So most of the things I read are about this, about life of painters, iconography. And my topic was about iconography, actually, because I was working on the image of fatal women and like how this topic was used in a very misogynist, let's say, era. And I was terrible about that moment. Like, see the women like, oh, they're so beautiful and dangerous at the same time, but so attractive, but oh, we are scared. So, and like, there are so many beautiful women who are gonna cut your head off or something like that. So this is really this kind of topic, and this is most of the books I'm reading actually, mostly about it. So I made some kind of exception with the orb because the previous singer was very oriented in sci-fi stuff, and our bass player is a big fan of sci-fi, and he told me definitely get back to this kind of topic if you try to say. This is not my thing, but I told him, oh, I love Aldous Huxley. This is one of my favorite novelists. So we can find some kind of combination with this. So this is what I did with this one. So let's say some kind of link with the previous work and still stuff I like. Yeah, combination between the sci-fi and art history in a bit of it. So
who are your favorite painters in history that you've studied?
oh, so many. Like, definitely the major artist of my topic was Alphonse Mucha. So the one who made the beautiful women. So this is like very considered. Is very famous for posters. So this is let's say most known renowned arts. But he made very interesting output, like in his late in his late work after he went back from the US, because yeah, first he's from Czech Republic, then he moved to Paris. So what people know is the influence of Paris, but then he went to the United States, and then he got some financial helps, and then he could work on his final work, which is now this is the fuck, in English I don't know the word. This is the Slavic and the Slavic epic. This is his major work, and so sure these are some kind of my favorite things, definitely. But I'm really connected also with artists like Gustave Moreau. So this is a French painter who's making very precious stuff, and there is a museum of like on his name, in his name in Paris. This is something he made himself, and he played a huge influence on the one of Salvador Dali, which is in Figueras, which is known to be some kind of maze and stuff. But so he is the, let's say, the first who made something like this. Because when you are in his apartment, it feels like a maze. You can there are some let's say secret passages and stuff like this. So this is so cool.
That's
and
really
you are in his home, with you are in his workshop, you are in where he was working, so you feel like you're sharing his like daily life and his working life. And so this artist is, well, I think it's definitely one of my favorites. And yeah, I love like Central Europe and yeah, overall painting. And sure, Edward Munch as well. So the Norwegian one was very symbolistic also. And there was an exhibition not that long ago in Paris, which was really cool. So these are definitely my things. So symbolism from that moment. So pretty dark topics also in the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
We went to it was a visionary art museum in Washington, DC, and I was surprised, as well as paintings and photographs, they also have like this computerized art.
Yeah.
Have you seen this? I don't know what you think of that, but it was definitely different. Like where it's
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
animated.
Yeah, like animated art.
Yeah, this is what they're doing, like they're doing so video mapping, and this is something like super fashionable, like to make like to get like super immersion in art and like putting on the wall. So this is yeah, this is super fashion now, and I don't know why this is interesting in a way. To me, that's I don't really care. I really like the original work.
Right.
What I like is what you when you see a painting, you're really getting in touch with this art. You see the matter. You see all the layers and the thing. This is not just a flat picture. You see like there's some kind of three-dimensional aspects in this way. This is also what is interesting, because the problem with this kind of pictures and images, there is only two dimensions. And to me, painting is not only about two dimensions. There is something more, and this is what I'm still more definitely connected with painting, like, but the objects, like the piece of art. And but I think that this new way of doing things are very interesting. And to me, if like people are like getting to know this thanks to this way of like broadcasting it, and I think that's good, because then you can discover it, then you can be curious of it, and then you're gonna be interested in going further in that way. So
Okay, well, we play a game on the show. Are you ready to play a game?
Wow.
We
Okay.
need
Why
his
not?
theme song.
We do, yeah. Okay, the game is called Blaspheming Monikers. Okay. And the game
Okay.
is I will tell you 5 band names.
Yeah.
One of them is fake. You have to decide which one you think is not real.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we
Yeah.
go. And I'll repeat them. We'll just keep going until you get it right or I run out of band names. So,
Yeah.
okay. First one is Grave Insult.
Grave Insult.
Second
Yeah.
is Coffin for Mary. Third is Devouring Carnage. Fourth is Temple of the Profane. And the fifth one is Godzilla on Demand.
Zella on Demand.
Yes. So which one do you think of those could be fake?
Grave Insult. I think that's a band. I think I've heard of it. So it's not the first one. What was the second one again?
Coffin for Mary.
I'm not sure it's fake. Coffin for Mary. And the third one?
Devouring Carnage.
Yeah, I think that this exists too. Like Brutal Corpse or something. Which is a real band also. Um, okay, let's go for number 4, I think.
Are you number 4, Temple of the Profane?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. That is fake. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. That's right. Yeah.
It can,
I
it
can't
can
believe
sound
there's
like
a band
real.
called Godzilla on Demand. I can't believe that's a real band, but
Yeah. I was to me that was a trap.
yeah, they're from Scotland. They're doom band. It's crazy. Yeah.
I would have guessed
Yeah.
Godzilla on Demand be from Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was okay. I got
Very
it.
good,
Cool.
Julian. Very good. You know your extreme monikers. Very good.
A bit, yeah, sometimes.
So I love the Doors cover of Strange Days. Were there any others in the running, or did you just kind of immediately decide on that one?
So the thing is that our drummer Carol is a super fan of the Doors. So like at almost every party, there is always a moment that he's gonna play it. So
Okay.
he's really into electro music, but the Doors is really something to him. To me, I'm more. I always appreciated their work, but I've never been a huge fan of that band. I'm more, let's say, more in the school of Led Zeppelin. This is more my stuff. I like more, it's a bit more weird, but I do enjoy the Doors. But and Cara wanted to make a cover of it, and this is also they connected with Matthew, so they made the decision of it. So I was not asked of doing it. Carol wanted to make that song, and for Matthew, he was choosing the song. He was picking up this one because he told me that that my voice would fit perfectly for this one. I was like, okay. I was never thinking about it because
Right.
I'm usually mostly clean singing, not only growling and screaming and stuff. But I'm really like at a very low range. Yeah, and so this is why it's not easy to use. I'm a bass singer, so bass baritone, it's just so it's not easy to put the thing out. Like I'm really into crooner stuff, like. And for instance, when I was a kid, as opposed to a guitar player, everyone wanted I play like the Crash Test Dummies because I could do it like
Okay.
that way.
I
But
forgot
with
about
that,
that song.
and Matthew always told me you have to try to make a cover of the Doors. I was like, why not? I was like, okay, let's just try it. And when I started to record it, he told me, yeah, cool, just
Wow.
listen to it, do it, and like it was super easy to track it. Like but that was not an idea of mine. Definitely, this is like a proposal, an offer from them. And so, yeah, you have to do it because they were sure it's gonna be working. And yeah, in the end,
Have you
it
done
was
any other covers on any other albums? Like, are there any? Is this your first cover on an album?
I think this is no. They made a cover, but that was instrumental song, "The Texture of Cynic."
Oh, okay, gotcha.
This is on an EP, but this song was recorded because they've been asked to take part of a tribute to Cynic.
Oh, okay.
So it was a different way, because I think that we are really not into cover songs. So let's say this is the first cover we made, definitely.
It definitely works.
Yeah.
Cool.
Um,
We try
I
to.
also really enjoyed your video for the orb. Was it tough to like, because at one point you're almost in a laser cage upright. Was it
Yeah.
hard to get used to all that going on and performing, or was you just block it out?
So the thing is that when we really started to let's say decide about the new videos, we had no budget at all because COVID stuff, no shows, everything was canceled. So we were like, okay, we have to do everything ourselves with no budget at all.
Oh my.
So Carol decided, okay, I'm gonna be a videoist. I'm gonna shoot it. So this is our drummer, who's like he was the filmmaker. So it's 100% homemade with only our crew, and all the lights come from our lights because we have a lighting tech as well. So he just hired to one laser and made it like this because he just managed to get some lights from his rental company. He's working with when he's actually working on other acts because he's not all sure he's not only living, he's doing a lot of electro stuff actually. So because yeah, so this is how we managed to get this kind of lights. So this is just Carl told me, yeah, rent this laser, rent this, and we'll see what we can do. And because our lighting tech is a professional lighting tech, so he was like, no, you should put it here. And just like Carol that make just the story and another thing. So sure, it was hard because it was a tough work because he was playing so many different roles because it's just one guy. So our drummer who made the whole thing, like absolutely everything, even the how is it in edition as well. So
Oh, editing,
filming,
right.
edition, scenario, writing, everything, deciding of the scenery, everything. Like
Yeah.
so
It
this
turned
is
out great. I mean, considering you had no budget, it really turned out well. Yeah.
yeah, this is it's really zero budget, and even we shot it in a venue. He managed to rent for zero thanks to his music school because he's a director of a music school, and from that he managed to get like this room. So it's really totally
That's great.
zero budget. I think even for the laser, we didn't really pay it the normal price. So it's like this is
That's
let's
creative
say.
networking. Yeah.
And the first one, victory, is even cheaper because yeah, we made it after a big party. So so yeah, this also comes. I mean, this is definitely the super homemade album. I mean, even the videos, like there are only the crew member, the band members who made everything. What you see. So sure, it was hard, but it was just some kind of trial. So
Yeah.
so this is how it's like this.
You've been, touring as a band for a long time. Is there ever like a gig where just stuff just went wrong, wardrobe malfunctions, or just
And
a
what are
crazy fan?
some of the worst problems you've had, in shows?
The classic thing, like because yeah, so sure we're doing for a long time, and there are many lineup changes, and the usual thing is that someone is having a real job, so no time, no free time. So someone is having a baby, so no free time. So this is like a super classic thing, and this is what happens. Also, so for instance, this is why Sandrine, who was drumming, left because then she just finishes her studies and she's a psychologist. And when she started to work as a psychologist, she had no time for touring at all. So this is in this context is tough. So there was just one bad experience with our previous drummer, and we just fired him from the band because yeah, I mean the mood between us was very bad. We didn't trust him anymore and nothing like that. So that was the only very let's say bad experience about lineup change, but all the time all the others one were like super logical. Like someone saw like the previous singer, he didn't have time to tour anymore because of his job, because of his so he had like a normal life with a wife and kids and everything. So like super classic things. So we just like filled in that way. So definitely when I joined the band, we had no one of us had a real job, so we had a lot of time.
Okay, that's great. Yeah.
There was some crazy story about you being lost, where you couldn't get to the gig. because you were stuck and your phone was dead,
So that's the one Lost in Osaka, I guess.
which he wrote a song about too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one where I wrote a song about it on a thrash EP we made especially for a tour with Havoc, Warbringer, and Ex Mortis. And so yeah, the song was some kind of fun. So it was like on tour in Japan in 2013, because 2013 is the year we've been touring the most. We've been touring Europe, US. We're playing in Jakarta, and we ended with Japanese tour. And yeah, that was the day of my birthday. And
Oh.
usually because when I'm traveling and touring, I'm always trying to wake up to go to the museum to visit the city, because I'm really into that, and I'm a tour guide now. So this is my job. So I'm really interested into heritage, and so I spend all the time in these museums. So I'm often the guy who's just like one do stuff on my own. Often the others just stay and rest, but I'm not resting. And when I'm somewhere, I want to see a lot of things. And this is what happens. This night, the problem is that we had a bus call super early, and it was my birthday, and I didn't want to go to bed too early. So I said, I'm gonna party on my own in Japan.
Okay.
And then this is a story, which is a very long story to tell. But yeah, I got lost there. The bus left. I had no phone. I had nothing. I couldn't reach anyone. I had no numbers. Like there was. I was absolutely crazy, but the craziest thing is that I went on time on the show,
Yeah.
which was
Crazy.
almost 700 kilometers. So let's say 400 miles away from the where we were.
Wow.
So I made it on my own.
Yeah. And they were all shocked when you showed up, right? Because they hadn't heard from you, right?
Yeah, that was like none of us. That was, they really wanted to kill me. Like they thought I was maybe in jail, I was maybe dead, I was maybe like, and yeah, the authorities were searching for me actually.
Wow.
So no, this was really serious.
Yeah.
That was really bad. So I could just tell about it like a couple of months later after that, because they needed time to. That
It
was
too
that,
soon.
that
It
was
was
a
too
very bad
soon,
experience
right?
with the
Couldn't
others.
bring it up. It's such a rock and roll story. It's great.
Yeah, this one is real, but I actually I did worse things than this, but I couldn't tell it.
Okay, we won't tell. Right?
Yeah.
So it looked like you had been in Maryland Death Fest in past years. So maybe we're in Baltimore. So hopefully we'll get you back over here for that or something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maryland Death Fest. I was not in the band, but they played there twice, I guess, in 2007 and 10, I guess. And since that moment, I don't know what happened. I think they're just not in touch with promoters anymore. And so yeah, I don't know why we're not playing there. But, it's in April. No, when is it?
Yeah.
May.
Well, April, May. Yeah.
It's May. But yeah, like yeah, I would love to go there, but yeah.
Yeah.
To me, this is something that never existed. That's to say, only
Yeah,
the Barbie and Mathieu, so the original members play there.
Yeah, I went through the lineup looking for you guys. I was like, damn it.
Yeah, this is because yeah, as we played there twice back in the day, and now since 2010, nothing. So we never got in touch anymore. I don't know, just like they just lost contact. I don't know.
Well, hopefully
I
we'll
think we
catch you on
should.
your
Yeah, we
next
have to
US
think about it
tour,
again.
whatever it might be.
Yeah, we'd love to see you if you come out this way. So
Yeah, I would really love to do that because the lineup is sick every year. It's just...
Oh, yeah.
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.